Okay guys, David Bueller here. So Ken wanted me to kind of get some pictures for you to show you off your new system. We're almost there. Got a couple little niggly software issues that I've got to deal with, but basically the system is all built. You can see you've got two range boxes and an LCO controller box. Getting in a little bit closer, there's the box. I'll turn it on in a bit. These do run around 1 watt, so I want to separate the distances to keep things safe. But basically it's like the Calgary and Lethbridge systems. Basically got an enclosure, got a battery down below with a switch. I've changed things up a little bit to not have the switch out front. Gives some flexibility. And of course the back side. There we see the 4 connectors for the pads, so each one of those is one ignition source, and then the H is for the hybrid, so that's a multi-pin that's in there and brings it out to a breakout cable. 3D printed parts. I've got some finishing off to do there, but yeah, it's looking pretty good. The controller box is all 3D printed, so it's the same style as Calgary and Lethbridge, although I did a little bit of enhancements in this one. Put some screw holes and stuff in the bottom. This one's left open, just so we can have a little peek inside. So up there you can see there's the lithium charger and the display. That is the new board that was done. That's the blue one in the bottom, and then the replacement modem boards. So I've designed it so these modem boards actually replace the stuff in the new system. The old modems that we use, or radios, no longer are produced. So I had to go to the new style, which of course is 3.3 volts, aside from the 5 volts the rest of the system runs on. I guess I'm going to have to catch up with the times. Keypad. And if we open this up, you can see it's a fairly simple keypad. And 4 lithium batteries. These will go for the whole weekend, no problems. And then the charger that's kind of up in the top there is charges the batteries. Basically got a USB spigot there for charging only. You need to use these pins here to reprogram things. Basically a microcontroller in here. Got some support materials below the board, and then of course the regulator takes 5 volts, 3 volts, 3.3 volts actually, to run the rest of this particular board. Moving over, let's go look inside what's in this thing. Fairly simple. If any of you were in the broadcast biz or the cable TV, these are old cable TV amplifier boxes, the ones that hung up on poles or sat inside some green boxes and stuff like that. They were throwing these out. Very valuable. So I absconded with a few of them. You can see the back sides of the ports, power coming in, and the grounding mechanism there, hybrid port down here. This little line is going out to the antenna. And again, there's that red board. A little bit of a different orientation, but everything works. It's pretty cool. This stuff that's in here is all part of a charge pump circuitry that gradually turns these on, so we have some safety for the system, so the pads don't ignite before they should. These ones up here that are kind of hidden, that's all for the hybrid. Dealt with them a little bit differently. Have some snubbers in there to deal with relays and things like that. And if you want to look, processor's right over there. And of course the cables. So this cable here goes to a quadrature controller. Basically it's a switch that has a couple pulses, and depending which pulses go which way, it goes forward and backwards. So it's almost like an iPhone. One button that does everything. And then the LCD for the system. So there you go. Pretty cool. Same kind of stand as the other systems. Basically just took some diamond plate. Basically it's a tool thing. Had a little bit of leverage there to make everything tight. But basically you can lift it up by here. Got to watch the antennas. Antenna mechanism, I went a little bit differently here. We'll just kind of pop this one out. The connector is actually hidden inside a little bit. So this piece basically goes inside. Now, all of you that work in the oil field, and I'm not singling you out, there's lots of others, you don't need a big wrench or hammer to put this in. Put it in a little bit tight. These do, if I take the tape off, it's just marking the stuff. These do angle if need be, so you can kind of rotate it, get it up, and angle it up like that. I was going to go with a different antenna system when I was going to go with a lower wattage modem or radio, but as it happens to be, I had to get the 1 wattage, so these antennas are fine. You power it on, starts up, goes through a little bit of a setup, and basically now it's ready for everything to go. You can see the display up here tells you what your battery life is. These type of displays, you're going to lose a lot from 100% down to probably 70. And it sits a long time between 70 and 30, and then after 30 it starts to drop a little bit faster. They're not a linear drop. Your capacity is low at the top and low at the bottom. Most of it's in the middle of the voltage ranges. So right now it's sitting looking for signals. I haven't powered these up. I gotta kind of remove remote this a little bit, so we're gonna see how this works. But on the keypad, basically these are all hybrid. These are selecting the various menu functions or the pads that you want to do. So you can, if you need to do 12, you hit the 1, 2, and then add. So this adds the pads. This will take away a correction or a number that you don't want in there, or takes away a pad. And basically once you've selected whatever pads, you can arm it. Go is the ignition thing. Basically you just press and the system kind of takes care of itself. And if any issues, just hit this and everything goes into an abort mode. And the menu gets into various things. Actually, I don't know. Oh yeah, we do have stuff in here. So you can change a few of these parameters in this mode. When things are working, you have to get into the menu a little bit differently, and it gives you more information. And here I'm just going to show you, it's kind of the same setup when you turn the range box on. Okay, so it comes up, has the Edmonton Rocketry, does the modem setup. Now it's sitting there waiting for stuff to come from the LCO controller, and it will display this kind of forever and ever. So right here you got the battery voltage over on this side. This gives you a little bit of an RF indication. Minus 40 is the lowest it will go. That means it's getting full signal and things. And this is the temperature. It's not ambient temperature, it's the temperature of the modem, which is reflective. If you're doing a lot of stuff, the temperature of this is going to go up. Plus, if the box is sitting in the sun, it's going to reflect some of that temperature that's coming through there. Okay, we're over in the workshop. I've left the range box on over there. So I'm just going to turn this on. You can kind of see what it kind of goes through. Startup sequence, and it gets right in here. Now if you just wait a little bit, you'll start to see a little flashy thing. That means that there's a range box that's connected. It's in safe mode, and how many ranges out there. So if you had 3 boxes, this will carry 3, and we'll have 3 S's there. I just turned one on right at the moment. You can see our signal strength is pretty good, minus 50. And if we hit the menu button, basically this tells you what's happening at the pad. 12.6, that's the current battery voltage. This remembers the lowest voltage when you go to do an ignition sequence. So if this is, we timed out. If this is, say, 11 volts and this goes down to 10.5 or 7 during ignition, that means your battery probably should be charged or replaced. Pads 1 to 4, that's the labeling. Okay. Signal strength that the range box is receiving, and the power, basically 1 watt. And just some other miscellaneous information. Read the manual. We can also, if we go into the menu system, a little bit of different things here. We can swap range boxes. So if we've got 2, we can swap 2 if they're out of order. We can also configure the ports. Go here. So we can disable some ports. So we can actually get in, that's how we get into doing the hybrid stuff. But what I wanted to show you was disable the ports. So if you only got 2 pads out there, rather than running the box 1 to 4, we can say there's just 2 active ports. And it'll come back. You can now see the range box only shows 1 and 2. Let's go through a sequence. So 1, add pad 1, add. So we've just selected 1. If we wanted to do more, we can do more. Do the arm. So it tells you it got a ranged arm. So now it's doing the continuity. And if we want to launch, go. The eye says it's in ignition mode. Ignition is cycled, so that's coming back from the box. And everything's down. Cool. So if we want to do pad 1, pad 2. So we've got 1 and 2. Then we hit arm. 1 and 2 show up and go. Ignition. Let's go turn on this guy. Powering up. Same settings. And when you see a little thingy flash up in here, it's getting information, and that code tells me what information it is. So now we're assigned pads 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Very cool. So now we're back at the range box, or LCO box. We've got two S's. So this one tells you individually what the range box in. Yes, I get some mode parts. That's for the PA system. 2 ranges. So let's actually go through the menu. Oh, pads 1 to 4, pads 5 to 8. So you can see the different information. And let's get out of there. Let's go back here, there. So you have to do the menu minus to get into these extra settings. And we're going to do a ports config. Let's just do a disable ports. So it's asking you which range box. So we're going to do paint range box 1. So we're going to put that down to 2. Now it's asking you for range box 2. So you have to kind of know which ones you're doing. So let's just do 2 there. So it just takes 1 click. You don't have to hit enter or anything. It's sending the information out. So range box 1 came back with some information, range box 2. So let's go see what has happened. So got reassigned pads 1 and 2. Oh look, 3 and 4. So it maintains the numbering system if you do everything properly. When you hit the menu system, pads 1 and 2. And pads 3 and 4. So that's the different range box assignments. Menu out. So let's add 1, add 3, add. So that's 2 different range boxes going. And do an arm. So you can see both boxes are armed up here. And both boxes went through ignition. D is a recycle, and S goes back to save. Okay, so we're going to show you a go into the menu, go menu minus, and we're going to do a ports config. So we're going to do hybrid control. So we're going to do this on pad or the range box 2. So here's the different, get the hand in there, different relays and whether they're off. So there's 2 columns here. So if we turn on our fill relay, this column is telling what the command is, and this is coming back from the range box. So basically, if there's not a sync thing here, there's some communication issue. I'm doing a lot of pinging the RF and things like that, so we have some real-time things. And again, we can shut it off, turn it on, shut it off. So let's turn it on. We're almost full. We turn our oxygen on for ignition. The only one that doesn't toggle is auxiliary. You have to press and hold for it to go on. basically until it ignites, and once the excitement of it going up, you release the button, it resets all the system. So you're not wasting nitrous or oxygen, things like that. So pretty cool. Then to exit, basically you hit the safe to exit. It gets out, resets the range, and away we go. Pads 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically, it's the range box 2 on the right. Range box 1 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So these get assigned according to power up. So if you power up range box 2 first, and it gets connected, and then range box 1, range box 2 will have pads 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we go to menu, minus, swap range boxes right out there. So basically, if you only have 2 range boxes, it automatically knows which ones need to be there. If you have 3 range boxes, it'll ask you which boxes that you actually want to do. Range 2 is now 1, 2, 3, 4. Range 1 is 5, 6, 7, 8. And if you had pads 1 and 2 on this one, and 3 and 4 on this one and swapped it, it would be 1 and 2 here, and 3 and 4 here. So it basically remembers your setup.